Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Tyler, or TC if you prefer. And today I'm going to do my first retro review. Yes, and this is a classic Spider Man. And it is the Spectacular Spider Man issue 200. And that is Harry Osborn as Green Goblin and Peter Parker as Spider Man. Not this Octo Spidey garbage that we see today. So, on to the review. So it begins with Mary Jane and Harry on the bridge where Gwen Stacy was killed in the hands of Norman Osborn, the original Goblin, or some people may prefer Spider-Man, because he did catch her, but that's up for a debate another day. But anyways, and she thinks, oh, Harry, you're going to kill me, you're going to kill me. No, he says, nope, I'm not going to kill you. I care about you too much, but I want Peter dead. And so while they're talking, it cuts to Spider-Man, who goes after a bunch of petty thugs, not even that big of a deal, and he just, beats the living tar out of them, and he's like, he practically kills them, but he's like, no. And then he's like, wow, what's going on with me? And he's just been in a state of depression, and now note that he's been kind of having some low points in his life at the time of this. I believe this May 1993. Wow. 2 years before I was born. But anyway, he's at a pretty low point in his life. And this is just the year before the Clone Saga, if I remember correctly. And it's just going bad for him. Terrible. Now he's got his best friend after him. But, so he returns home after the petty thug incident, and he finds Harry there, and he just wails on him, basically, and says, stay away from my wife. I don't want to see you. And so Harry just mocks him and leaves. And Peter and MJ have, a little argument, which involves Peter yelling at her to quit smoking. Yes, smoking is very bad for you. Gives you a lung cancer. And that's the truth. This is no joke, but anyway. And so he's saying, I have to duck Harry. So they meet up a few times over the course of a few weeks, even with JJ coming into the picture at one point. But finally, they meet up for a final battle at Harry's place. So, while they fight, Harry is able to get the upper hand on Peter, and he drugs him with the needle in his glove. And he's like, haha, I finally beat Peter, I beat Spider-Man, I'm going to blow up my place, and I can die in peace. But what he doesn't realize is that MJ and Normie, his son, are still in the building. And so he's like, I have to go rescue them. So he does, and MJ wonders, where's Peter, where's Spider-Man? And Harry, it almost seems reluctantly, but he's like, I gotta do this. And he's on the brink of dying, too, from the Goblin formula. Goes back in, and as a last heroic act, yes, the villain pulling the heroic act, he saves Spider-Man before the building explodes. So Peter's like, Harry, yeah, you're a hero now. He's like, And so he collapses. And so basically what happens, I'll let these emotional panels do the talking. That's some pretty powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And so now, on to the ratings for writing. I got this comic about 10 years ago. I was 8 years old at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm a big Spidey fan. The this was like one of the final years before I stopped really being like I wasn't really into comics. Like when I was like 10 through about up until last April before I got renewed it. But I stuck around with Spider-Man. I saw the trilogy. But anyway, that's another whole story about that. I'm probably gonna do something on that later on. But anyway, it was one of my favorite Spidey stories. Like I'd gotten a whole bunch, but this story, pretty powerful stuff. J.M. DeMatteis, he's a phenomenal writer. I don't know if he's probably one of the best Spidey writers out there. Obviously behind like Stan Lee and Peter David and all that. But yeah, great story. Great story. 5 stars. 5 stars, definitely. And as for the art, those last panels, man, if it doesn't tug on your heartstring, then you should not even be reading Spidey, because this gorgeous artwork that really speaks for itself. It's just, wow. Blown away. Blown away. So, yeah, this book gets the perfect 10 out of 10. It's a great story. And it's not my favorite anymore, because I've been able to catch up and all that. I found some other ones that I really enjoyed, but this is definitely up there. This is probably maybe number 2 or 3. Definitely. Yeah, that's the review. So now, coming up soon on my reviews, I'll be reviewing Superior Spider-Man number 2. Yes, I'm going to get Superior Spider-Man. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick to it. I'm a diehard Spidey fan, and I got to stick with it. And just hope that they finally bring Peter Parker, not Octo Spidey, into the picture and just fix everything. But also, more retro reviews. Hopefully I'll be doing some more. I'm thinking some Amazing Spider-Man 300 could be in stores. Some other stories that I find enjoyable, or maybe not even enjoyable, because I have a whole little collection of it. I've been really building since last June. And so, yeah, that's the review. Have a nice day.